Hi friends, it's Tracy from the Financial Freedom Diary, and today we are back to close out my budget for the month of November in EveryDollar. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing below. Hope you all are doing super fantastic. I don't know what the weather is like where you are, but it's cold here. I went to the post office and I actually saw snow flurries. Ugh, not my thing. But anywho, I did have some savings in my utilities, so we're not only going to be closing out my budget in EveryDollar, we're also going to be making a snowflake payment on my student loans. Okay, so let's get started. So my income is all logged for the month of November, and so the total was $5,789.03. I don't think there's any part of this that you guys haven't seen. So I am going to scroll down, and I am going to tell you guys about a change I'm going to do for December. So you'll see the utility rollover is 0 right now. So I need to reconcile my budget for that. I need to get that utility, the payment that I made to MLGW. I need to get that classified to see what that difference is, so that way I can update that with the amount. So if you're looking over here and then you're new to EveryDollar, you'll see I have an incomplete circle here, and that's because I have $183 left to budget. As I go through my month in EveryDollar, I do not spend up everything, because normally in my budgeting process, I have already taken care of any gaps that may have happened. So if I save more in my cash envelopes, I reflect it on a paper, and then I come back and log it on EveryDollar. But I would have gone in that paycheck budget and said, okay, I saved $30 more in my cash envelopes. I'm putting that $30 to my student loan debt. So if I make that payment for that total amount that I said is going to be for the student loan debt, I don't want to respend it in here. So I come back at the end of the month and then I reconcile everything to make sure I don't double dip. I did that one time in the past, so it's like a little lesson that I learned. And you know how it is. Sometimes you have to mess up to really get why things are done in a certain order. And so that's what I experienced. So let's get here. So the first thing I'm going to drag and drop is going to be my cell phone. So my portion of the cell phone bill is $69.18. And so for utilities, one thing I wanted to show you, if you're new to EveryDollar and you don't know like where you want to put your transactions, you have two places. You can either put it up here where it says transactions in the upper right corner, or you can just click on a category and then click on add new. So MLGW, I paid $191, but I budgeted $275. So for me and my household, I decided some years back that what I would start doing with the utilities, any money that I save from the utilities will go into making a payment on my student loan debt or whatever debt I was working on at that time. So today it just happens to be student loans. So what I'm going to do is change this from $275 to $191. Now that evens that out. So you see that took away that $84 that was left to spend here. So that remaining was saying 84, so now it shows 0. But look how this increased to 267.82. Now I have my utility roll over here, so I hope you guys can see that. Let me drop that down just a little bit. And now I'm going to go in here and add $84 here. Okay. And so this is not like a sinking fund that I keep for long term. What I do is in the December budget, so I'm going to go over here in December, pull that up for you guys. Up here in the income section, I put that in as $84. Now you see, oh, before I do that, let me show you something. You see it says it's an EveryDollar budget up here. And see how that circle is complete? I don't have anything that's left to budget. Now I'm going to change this planned to $84. And so you see how that's highlighted? I got add new. I'm going to add it as income because technically it's just sitting in my account. For me, I do this because I tend to, if it's sitting there, doesn't have a name, I'll find a way to spend it. So now it shows that I received it here. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay that, even though today is November 30th, I actually got paid today. So to me, my November 30th paycheck is the first paycheck for December. And that's how I do mine. So let me hop back over here to November. And so you see that went back down to 183.82, and that happened because I put that $84 in the utility rollover. So I got that. So let's see what else I got going on here. I paid $98.42 for my internet, and I also paid $990.95 for my rent. Now, with the internet, I got a $10 credit this month, and that was because I was having issues with my internet and my modem. My Wi-Fi box wasn't working, and it gave me a credit. I got a new box, so I'm expecting them to increase my internet cost next month to cover the new modem that I got. And it also heard that they were going to put a cap on the unlimited. And here's the thing, my old plan, I actually had unlimited. I paid extra every month for that. And so I'm wondering how, if you had that, do we have to go back in and contact them to get that back? It's kind of stupid that they took it away without you telling them to. Now they're going to charge you for using excess data over a certain amount. And that was why I paid that every month, because I knew the way we function here, we were going to go over. So I just dropped that gas purchase that I made this past Sunday for 15, I believe it was 15.57, 15.87. And so you see I have $33.46 remaining in this bucket, but I spent $46.54 in gas. So what I'm going to do is adjust this down, 46.54. Now you may be wondering why I don't, what have I done? Got some funky stuff going on here. You may wonder why I don't with the gas. For that one, I leave in my cushion. It's a way to pay debt and save. Pay debt and save. Now for December, I'm going to delete this from under the transportation section when it comes to the car maintenance, and I'm going to move it into the sinking fund section because it's easier to manage there than down here. Because of all the issues I had with my car this month, I am going to leave those funds electronic. I'm not going to take that out as cash, and I'm going to see if that works better for me. If it doesn't, then I'll start back taking out in cash and keeping it in the house. So what we got left, So groceries was $375, and that was in cash. I will close that out this Saturday. And what else I have? So let's see. Okay, so I got my insurance and I have a debt payment to go left to classify. So my auto insurance is 9202. I always budget 95 for this one. I just don't like working with 9202. I don't know why. Certain categories, I'll just say 70. Or like for the cell phone, I said 70 instead of 69 something. I know it's 69 something, but for some reason I do that. I don't know why. Let's see if I make that goofy mistake I just made before. I did not. So now I have 2026 left to budget. And let's see. Okay, I did put the dental expense in for 151.16. Got a couple of fillings this month. So now the last thing is my debt, and I just went by that super fast. So here's my student loan payment. I had planned on paying $2,697.17. Now I'm going to drag and drop this. So what I actually paid was $2,869.41. So I'm going to change this to match what I have here. And I want you to watch what I have left to budget. And so hopefully that helps you guys who are new to using EveryDollar. Trying to see the method to my madness. Okay, so there we go. Now you see I have $48.02 left to go. So if I would have cut a check for 200 and something dollars, what a real problem. So, and I know all the young people are like, who out here cutting checks? I do got a book of checks. And I'm kind of mad I don't use them. But anywho, just some aside notes. If you're going to use EveryDollar, there are some things in here that you can do. You can set notes in here. So like I can put a goal in here. And this is an old goal because you can see all of my payments here have been on FedLoan 011 and FedLoan P9. So N19 is something that was for October and I already took care of that. So I can come in here and change this and say the goal was to pay off 011, which is what I did this month. And thank God I put something to designate the date, because I don't remember half the stuff I do. And this minimum payment of $423.74, I want you to take that and remember that, because that's the payment that I had way back at the beginning of my debt-free journey. So back in 2017, that was my monthly payment. That's not my monthly payment today. I think my monthly payments maybe $200 to $300. So yeah, that's an old payment that's still up in there. And for some reason, I won't change it. For some reason, I like seeing it. It's just one of those weirdo things that I do. And so if you look at my little pie chart here, you'll see now that gap is smaller because the amount that I have left to budget is smaller. So let's go and put this in my cushion. Oh, there's a transaction I need to take out of my cushion too, because I paid for something. So here's my cushion right here. And so you can see I have $710.79 in my cushion. So when you click on that, and it was 48. I think that's how I'm doing all this weird stuff today. 4802. Here. Now, for the cushion, I need to take out $15.05. As far as shipping today. And so you can change this up here for your expenses. It's in orange. If you click on income, it'll change to blue. Income is when it's going to add to it, of course, and expenses when it's going to take it away. And here's the category it's going to take it out of. And so I'm going to track that expense just to show myself that I did spend out of this category for $15.05. This is probably the weakest area I have is with my sinking funds as far as documenting them. I am horrible with it. I can do it on paper, but I always forget to go online and fix all my mess. So I want to make sure I got my quarterly taxes documented, which was $61.53. So I do. And I like doing this because for my quarterly taxes, when January 15th rolls around, I'll come here, log in, look and see what I got in there. And I just log into the IRS website and pay that amount. So it just keeps that rolling for me, makes it a whole lot easier for me. And so we're done with that. You can see this is back to it's an EveryDollar budget, and I got to save a little money this month into my account, just $48.02, but I'll take it. And so you can click on a section on here, and so you'll see that my debt payment for this month is 50% of my income, which is a goal that I have. I have found that when you try to do that, get your payment to debt about 50%, the closest to 50 as possible, as much as you can tolerate. It helps you pay off the debt a lot faster and you get out of debt quicker. when you can't, like I can't in December, that slows you down. But it's not a bad thing as long as we're progressing, right? It's not like I'm popping and locking and misusing the money, I couldn't pop and lock if I wanted to. What am I talking about? So here we go. I am going to delete this category out from transportation. I want to move it into the sinking funds area where it belongs. It just flows better. And so I'm going to, you just click on the category and then you click on your little trash can to delete it. And it asks you the question, are you sure you want to delete? And yes, I do. Now, what am I going to do with that? I am going to scroll if I can ever figure it out. I'm going to go up here into my sinking funds or my savings, whichever way you want to call this. And I'm going to add car maintenance up here. And my budgeted amount for car maintenance per month is $75. And so when you're setting these up, if you wanted to roll that balance and keep track of that balance for you, what you do is over here, there's a little piggy bank. You can set a due date in here, but you can also just make this a fund. And then you just click on make this a fund. And then if it were December, I could tell it what the starting balance is, but my car maintenance is actually 0. So 0 is good for me, and I am super happy about that. But yeah, you could, if you had something that was pre-existing, if it was December 1st, I can add that. And if I had a pre-existing fund, I could come in, create the fund, and then edit this. But you can only do it when the month is active. So like if I was creating this as a sinking fund in my November budget, I could have done the same thing, but I could have went up there and actually edited that balance. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. When it's grayed out, you can't change it. But in your active month, excuse me, I thought I was going to sneeze. So we will go into the taxes. Fund details. I can edit that. And so I don't want to edit that, but I actually can go in now and edit that. But when the month is over, it grays that area out and you can't edit. But it'll roll that balance this point going forward from December. Any money I add to it, anything I take out, it keeps track of the balance for me, which is what I like about that feature in EveryDollar. And so once you make that a fund, you'll see now I have the little piggy bank right here. So I'm done with that because I have rolled over that. Got to do the cash envelopes on Saturday. Rolled over the utilities. And so now I'm going to take this $84 and I'm going to pay that on my student loans. And so I need to exit out of EveryDollar and go into FedLoan. I almost forgot what the name of that site was. Okay, so I'm back in my FedLoan account. If you're noticing that is dark now, this is because I had internet issues. I can't make this up. Yeah. And then they want to charge people if you go over so much in the data. It's like, dude, I have to restart that box. And this is with the new one. But let it go. Let it go. Okay. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about a paycheck to paycheck budget, when I was describing what I would do as far as making sure I made an extra interest payment when I paid my debt. A subscriber was looking and they saw that I had a 0% interest rate and I had 0 outstanding interest. So that's what they were talking about. They were trying to figure out how I got to the 0 in the outstanding interest part. So that's where it came in, where I was talking about the interest only payment that I was making because the IDR payments that I had were not enough to cover the interest on all of my student loans. And you got to remember, I had 20 of them. So the old ones that I had, I was paying enough. But the newer ones that I got when I went back to school, I wasn't paying enough. So what you can see right now is my current balance is $43,664.97. And I am going to go into my loan details from here, just a lot easier for me. But yeah, that's where the discussion came from. And I think another question I got, and I'm trying to remember, was can I make a principal only payment? I have federal student loans. Right now, I can go in and make a principal only payment because I have no interest to pay. On federal student loans, or for federal student loans, when you're making your payment, the way the payment is applied, and this is the order of precedence, right? So the first thing is any unpaid fees. The second thing is any unpaid interest. Then they apply the rest of that. So you have to have enough money over those two things for anything to go to your principal. So you just can't say, I'm going to pay this on my principal. It's not like when you're making like when I was paying off my car. I used to just be able to say, this is an interest only payment. Or I would call them and say, hey, I just posted a payment for $500 and I would like that to be applied to my principal, and they would go in and fix it. Here you don't have that choice, and that's kind of like the gotcha to federal student loans is you have to pay the interest first. It's before you can pay the principal. Now, the unpaid fees portion, I have always been on auto pay. So my loans, my payments come out on time. But if you are late, they can charge you a late fee, stuff like that. So if there's a late fee, that comes first, then your interest, and then whatever's left over to pay on your student loans. So I know I told you guys to check that what my payment was in EveryDollar. So if you look in here, when I click on each one of these, you can see what my monthly payment is. Like this is $46.84. So, and here's my repayment plan, revised pay as you earn. So as I make more money, this payment goes up. But it goes up once a year, and that's at the point that I do my recertification. So I do the extra payments so that way I don't have, when I go and submit that application and they process everything, they take any outstanding interest at that point and add it to the principal. I try to reduce that to the lowest amount possible. So that way they don't increase it by thousands. They may be able to $10-$20, but not thousands. Because then they're charging you whatever your interest rate is for a higher principal. And this is one of those where you can see I borrowed $7,584, but my principal is $8,248.90. So I pay more in interest now because capitalized interest, and that's what happens. So that's another gotcha to federal student loans. So that's why when I said that, is you know somebody who they lost their job and they don't know how they're going to pay their student loans, to go ahead and submit the IDR. But that's one of those things, you keep your eyes on that. You know, you don't get so comfortable in not making the payment and not understand that when it's time to pay, that they're going to take all that interest that sat out there and add it to the principal and then charge you interest on that. So you want to keep your eye on things because crap happens. I think 2020 has just been one of those years where it's put it in everybody, it's right in front of you. You can't pretend like it's not going to happen. Nobody predicted it was going to be like this, but bad things happen. They happen on a micro level or they can happen on a macro level, and this one is huge. But typically it's happened to people, and it's this person, that person over here, and it's so spread out so nobody knows that tragedy is striking different people. And IDR is a way to either get a zero payment or a lower payment, but you still want to watch that interest. So that way you're budgeting, you're doing the right things with your money. And as you are able to make more money, you can start paying that interest. But that is how the student loan thing actually works, what they do with your payment. So the student loan that I'm focusing on right now is, I call it P9. P as in Paul, and 9 is the number that they gave it. And I owe $5,046.78. And so you can see all the loans I had here. You see all the ones that are paid in full. Here, this one right here, I paid in full. It takes it maybe a month or so after I paid something off before they update it with paid in full. They're always behind, but you can see what I owe. And so these are the 5. And so I'm going to click on that one. And so you can see what my original balance was, which was $5,500. And today is $5,046. I believe when I got started paying it was $56.96 maybe. And they show like next due date, and this is like way back when. I'm not even sure why they put that in there. Why didn't it go with but January 18th of 2021? I don't know. Sometimes you just let it be. And then their expected payoff date of the November 18th, 2031. Will I be alive at that point? I don't even know, but not today. That is not true. We want this paid off probably by February or March of next year. So what I'm going to do is make a payment on this loan. And if you hear any knocking on the wall, it's my neighbors, little short people, their kids are playing. I tried to get this done. Internet wouldn't comply. So when you click on that, what you want to do, and there's 2 prompts in here, and I like going through the loan details to the specific loan. Because then when I say pay on this loan, it takes me to target specific loan, and then it highlights the one that I want to pay. And you can see what my principal balance is. You can see what my past due amount is and what my amount due is on this screen. If I would have gone straight into payments and billing, which is over here, if I would have came that route first, it would have taken me to the pay all loans tab. And that looks like this. You want to be careful with this because I got an $84 payment. What it'll do is I'll put the $84 in, I'll put my date in there, I'll tell it my account, and I'll make that payment. They'll take that $84 and they're going to split it across all 5 loans. And that's not what I wanted to do. And so that's why when you're trying to target one specific loan, you want to make sure you target specific loan or whatever the language is for your loan service provider. I've had that happen to me before, I think the very first time. And so I just learned it. I still follow the same prompts, but you can see now that I had clicked off of that screen to pay all loans, you see 9 is not highlighted anymore. But I'm on it. I'm on it. I pays attention sometimes. Not all the time. But yeah, on this one I do. But it's not always intuitive when you go in there. Like I remember when FedLoan didn't even have the numbers out here. And so if you can imagine having 20 different student loans, you see number 20 here, some of them being about I'm owing the same amount and I'm trying to pay a certain one and not being able to keep up with it. I had to come up with a lettering scheme. And then later FedLoan came up with a numbering scheme. And so I just took those 2 and put them together because I had like a sheet where I had the letter I gave it, the disbursement date, and the principal amount so I could keep track of things when I logged in, especially if I logged in and I was tired. Because, I used to side hustle. I can't now with all this stuff that's going on because I'm freaking out. And plus I have asthma, so I can't be, I can't be taking chances like that. But when I was out there and I would come home, I'll be dirt tired, just broke. I'm just like, okay, I need to go in. I need to do this. And one time I actually did pay on the wrong loan because I had 2 that were the same amount. And so it was kind of very confusing to deal with. But I kind of organically came up with a process that actually just works for me and to make sure I could catch up on that interest, because you don't want that interest out there when it's time to recertify. You want to get that as low as you possibly can. It's never zero. You only see the zero now because of what we're going through right now, but it wouldn't be zero any other time. So today is the 30th, so I'm going to post that in my checking. So I'm going to advance you guys to the approval screen because I got some personal information on here that I want to make sure that I don't disclose accidentally. Okay, so that payment has gone through for $84. And so you see now the amount I saved from my utilities, I put it onto my lowest student loan or lowest debt at that point in time. I know I said a lot, and I do have a video where I showed how to deal with the interest and stuff, like how to split those payments up, because I have two paychecks. I have the interest only one, and then I have my regular scheduled payment that comes out. Over time, that reduces the amount of interest I have outstanding, especially if I can touch that principal. If I can reach up and just touch that principal. And so I am so tired of my memory right now. I can see her avatar. She said $25 per loan for the other ones. So thank you for that. I'm going to do that in January. So in January, those other four, you're going to see my very first payment of the month when I do my pay debt with me. $100 is going to go to those four. Then whatever my snowball payment is going to go to the lowest one. You're going to see my regular payment process, and then you're going to see pay debt number 2. There's a whole little rhythm I have to doing that, and it just keeps everything under control. That way it just works better for me, and hopefully that helps somebody else, because this can be overwhelming. Just, I don't trivialize going through this and having to deal with looking and dealing with this for the very first time. Like, I can't imagine being somebody that's in their 20s having to deal with this. And it's kind of sad and kind of frustrating that these young people have like 40-year-old people debt coming out of college. It's nuts. It's nuts. But I just went to go to my payment history. And so I wanted to show you guys, especially if you're new, you're just out of college, so you can see how much I've paid to principal so far, $48,959, and that's what this loan servicing provider. I had a loan servicing provider before FedLoan. I can't get to that account. I don't even remember what it was, but that was because I was sloppy with everything back then. The amount of interest that I paid so far is $22,000. And the total amount I paid is $71,000. So you see how much you are paying out when you don't pay attention and you just let them linger and linger and linger. So there's nothing wrong with being on IDR. Just make sure you got a plan on how to approach that and get your income up and pay that debt off as quickly as possible. And please, please don't be one of those people who sit up and say that, what my mom used to say, you can't get blood from a turnip and you're just not going to pay it, because they will snatch your tax refund faster than you can blink. And they don't have to notify you either. They can garnish your wages. They can do whatever. But you can see all the payments that I put in. And I'm trying to find one where I paid interest on it, because this only keeps the last 6 months. And I may need to go deeper than that. Let's do 12 months, because 6 months has been, and 6 months has been during the CARES Act. So let us see. Dang damn it, why did it go back to the first page? And I'm going to stop pseudo cussing too. All right. So I think it was about March 18th was when the whole CARES Act took place. So I'm going to click on that one so you can see how it takes your payments. And so my monthly payment at that time was $315.34. So you can see the amount that went to principal over here, and then the amount that went to interest. And here was a payment that I posted at the beginning of the month. And this is when I normally do my interest only payment or any snowball payment that I'm about to make, or sometimes I do both. It just depends. And so here you go. You can see you can't tell which loan this was at that time, but I was making a payment on this particular loan, which was dispersed May 31st, 2008. And these were all of my interest only payments at that time. So you can see out of that total payment of $664.71, $615.21 went to principal on that one loan, and all the rest of it went to interest. And so it would be my second payment would be where I would see a little bit going to the principal. So I'm trying to find a different month, and then I'm gonna get on off of here because y'all probably got something to do. Y'all like, we got a life. So let us see. Okay, now this is gonna look weird to you. You're gonna see I got 1 on 2-3 and 1 on 2-4. When interest is accruing and you're trying to pay a loan in full, I can't do the interest only and pay one off. I have to pay one off. That's one transaction. Then I have to do that interest only for the second one. So that's what I did here. And you can see what my principal balance, my ending balance after those payments had applied back then, which was $70,000. Then on 2/17, I made another payment for $1,400. And that was to one loan. That's another one. That's probably the one that I was still paying on back in March. And here's my payment here. So let's see. Here, now this is the payment that they normally take out. And so you can see how much of that $315.34 payment that automatically comes out of my account, how much goes to the interest, and how much of it went to the principal, which was $42.05. So what I want you to think about is take out that interest only payment that I made here. So this one I did right here for $58.44. If you just don't pretend like I didn't do that, this whole $315.34, probably most of it would have gone to interest and very little would have gone to the principal. So that's why I was doing what I did. It's hard to explain without actually working through one. And so I'll make sure I set aside some time to record another video to explain it and kind of break it down, because I am getting more subscribers who have just graduated from college, and I don't want anybody to go through what I went through and to see that shock. Because if I borrowed $60,000 and then I log in almost 10 years later. Yeah, because I think I got my master's in 2011, so it was 2017. And I see I owe $90,000. It's like, what's good? What happened? And it wasn't nothing but capitalized interest happened. And most of my payments were just going to interest over time, because when I graduated, it was after like 2008, 2009. So many people lost their jobs back then. And so I stayed in school and went to grad school. And then even though I had a master's degree, my starting salary was like $40,000. So I couldn't afford to make an $800 student loan payment. So I was under IDR, and $40,000 is at the job that I went to. The first job I had was $36,000. So it does happen that you are, I think it's called underemployed. You got a job, but you don't make enough money to pay all this stuff. And I don't say that so you guys can feel sorry for me, but I do say it because some people have children, and those kids have gone to college. And I think sometimes I've seen it in my friends, they expect the kids to be making all this money, and it's like, on whose planet? When everybody has a bachelor's degree, why is that person's bachelor's degree special? When everybody has a master's degree, why is one of them special? They're not. So over time, when more people have those degrees, they get devalued over time. And that's just the way business works. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I think that's why a lot of people reevaluate whether they should go to college or not. But let me get off my soapbox. But I will try to put something together. It'll probably be after the new year before I can sit and deal with that. So I can make sure it's in plain language and work through an example to show you guys how I did that. But I will work on that because some of you guys are fresh out of college, and there is that thing of your pay versus the payment. And so if you're on IDR, I just don't want nobody just to not pay attention, because my payment back then used to be $100 and something. And before long, the payment started going up because I was owing more. I wasn't putting anything. None of my payment was going to the principal. It was a mess. But that's not going to happen to y'all. That's the good thing. And I will talk to y'all later, but we have closed out. What month is it? November. Yeah, it's November. It's November. I need sleep. But we have closed that out and I am done. I just got to do one of my little checks. I'm sorry, I scrolled in a totally different direction. I like to go to my account summary just to make sure my payment is showing on my main page. It's just one of my little goofball things. So there it is. And probably tomorrow it'll show that it's in process. But yeah, I will put something together to work through another example. I have a video that I did working with the payments that I have now and trying to show you if you had outstanding interest and what to do. But I'll work through something else for you guys. And thank y'all for watching, because I know this is a long video. I already know. And y'all have a super fantastic morning, afternoon, evening. Don't let me get the hiccups at the end. I will talk to y'all later. And yeah, because on Thursday, we're going to be doing my debt tracker update. So bye. Y'all have a great one.